Is plucking your beard by hand a major sin? If you mean plucking the whole of it, it's a painful way of removing a beard. But if you mean plucking the whole of it or shaving the whole of it, then that is a major sin. Even to trim the beard, to cut the beard beyond the grip of 4 fingers or the fistful. So if you are looking at me now, then you will see that I've taken my beard beneath my chin in my fist. Whatever remains beyond that, then a group of the Sahaba, such as Abu Hurraira, Abdullah ibn Umar, and other than them, that they would take from that which remains beyond the fistful. So therefore, that becomes a sunnah of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, that many of the scholars, such as Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala, ascribe that to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. As for trimming beyond that, then that is haram. As for the opinions of the scholars, then the opinions of the scholars have no value. As much as we respect them and honor them, as it relates to the hadith and the command of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. As for shaving the beard, then that is an even greater sin than trimming it. That is an even greater sin than trimming it. For the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam commanded us to grow the beard and to trim the mustache. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam commanded the Sahaba radiallahu anhum to differ from the Jews and the Christians and the Magians by growing the beard and trimming the mustache. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam definitely did not cut his beard. And if he did cut, then it was not beyond the fistful. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum did not cut their beards. And if they did, it was never beyond the fistful. And anyone who claims other than that, then that is his ra'i, that is his opinion, and the opinions of men are not a proof when it comes to the hadith of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The only person from amongst mankind that is followed unconditionally, without question, is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. فَلْيَحْذَرِ الَّذِينَ يُخَالِفُونَ عَنْ عَمْرِهِ. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, let those beware who oppose the command of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So what did the Messenger command with? He commanded you to grow the beard. Differ from the Jews, differ from the Christians, differ from the Magians. Do not shave your beards. Differ from the non-Muslims in general, in your attire, in your garments, in your fashions. Our fashions and our trends and our heritage must be in accordance to the heritage of Islam, the Sahaba, and especially if it agrees with the command of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then no one's command and no one's opinion. It doesn't matter. Sheikh Fulan said. This is the way of Bin Baz and Al-Albani and Muqbil. This is the way of Ahlul Hadith, of the Salaf and later times. How dare anyone come along and say the opinion of any man is relevant when he opposes the command of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there's an article on the growing of the beard and likewise hairstyles. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade the qaza', and the hadith are too numerous to mention. Forbade it. Either keep all of it or remove all of it. He forbade the shaving of a part of the head and leaving a hair on the other part of the head. It doesn't matter the ra'i of fulan and fulan, even if he be from the great scholars. It doesn't matter. There is no great scholar alive today greater than Abu Bakr and Umar. And this is what we find from the statement of Shaykh al-Fawzan and Shaykh Abdul Aziz bin Baz and Shaykh al-Albani and Shaykh Rabi' and Shaykh Muqbil and Shaykh Ahmed al-Najmi and al-Luhaydan and others. This is the way of the scholars of our times. That the speech of no man is given precedence over the speech of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he forbade the qaza'. He forbade the shaving of the sides of the heads. For that is the imitation of the kuffar, and it is an imitation of the Jews. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he forbade imitating the unbelievers, for whomsoever resembles the people, as he said in the narration in Musnad of Imām Ahmad, man tashabbaha biqawmin fahuwa minhum, and whomsoever resembles the people is from them. So if the kuffar bring in a fashion of shaving the side of the head, then we do not shave the side of the head and say that it is mubah. Or that we say it is only makruh because fulan and fulan said that it is makruh. What did Rasulullah say? Alayhi salatu wassalam, don't get your children into the habit of imitating the kuffar and disregarding the hadith of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and regard them to be just mere statements of the Prophet that the opinions of others can override. No speech of any person can override what the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said. And likewise with the isbal, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam commanded with the raising of the garments above the ankles, and whatever falls below the ankles, then it is in the fire. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam ordered us to follow his sunnah. And this was the statement of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu to Urwa ibn Zubayr, who was a son of one of the Sahaba, Zubayr ibn al-Awwam, who was one of the ones who was promised Jannah. So Urwa said to Ibn Abbas, I have heard that you allow people and that you are telling the people to make Umrah in the first 10 days or in the first 8 days of Dhul Hijjah. He said, yes, I do. Because that is the sunnah of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam for Hajj, Hajjut Tamattu', making Umrah and then coming out of Ihram and then re-entering into Ihram on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. He said, why are you telling the people this? This is wrong. You are misguiding them. He said, go and ask your mother. He said, Abu Bakr and Umar didn't do what you're doing, Ya Abdullah ibn Abbas. So Abdullah ibn Abbas said, this is what will destroy you. And this is what will bring the punishment of Allah upon you. That I say to you that Allah's Messenger said, and you bring to me Abu Bakr and Umar. And that narration is sahih. As Shaykh Muqbil and others have said, that narration is sahih. So who is there greater than Abu Bakr and Umar? The Abdullah ibn Abbas said, I bring to you the words of Rasulullah, and you say to me, and you bring to me Abu Bakr and Umar. I bring to you the words of Rasulullah, and you bring to me An-Nawawi and Ibn Hajar. I bring to you the Salaf and what they did amongst the Sahaba, and you bring to me a faqih from the Middle Ages or a scholar of today. This is what Shaykh al-Albani refuted. This is what Muqbil refuted. This is what Ibn Baz refuted. This is what Rabi refutes. This is what Fawzan refutes. Don't fall into this. This is not the manhaj of Ahlul Hadith. The methodology and the madhab of Ahlul Hadith is the hadith of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If you have something from Rasulullah that is to the contrary of that, and it is authentic upon him, then bring it. Otherwise, we say what Abdullah ibn Abbas said, that I fear that stones will rain down from the sky upon your head, that I say to you, Qala Rasulullah, and you say to me, Qala Abu Bakr wa Umar. The skin trembles if a person was to say today, Abu Bakr and Umar said, and you reject it. We would rightfully feel we have to be careful because this is Abu Bakr and Umar. But in consideration of the hadith of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then with all the respect and honor and love and mahabbah that we have for Abu Bakr and Umar, the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam are wahi. They are revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. And he never spoke from his desires. So have this in mind when you see this trend towards ease and fashion and following the unbelievers or following trends, that you find a hadith and then you start thinking to yourself, well, maybe it's just makruh. Maybe it's not really a command because fulan and fulan said. Look at the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because that is revelation. That's what the Sahaba were upon. That was their way. Ubadah ibn Samit, when Muawiyah radiallahu anhu said some words and he said that I don't see, when he quoted a hadith of riba, He said, no, it is not riba. He said, I say to you what Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, and you bring me your opinion. By Allah, I will not live in a land where you are in charge of me. That's what one companion said to another companion. And he went to Medina, where Umar ibn al-Khattab was the Khalifa, or he was the Amir al-Mu'mineen. And he said, what happened? He said, this is what happened. He said, go back, I will write for you how deprived a country is, or a land is, that where you are not present. So he wrote to Muawiyah and he said, he is right, you are wrong, you have no authority over him. This is Sahaba radiallahu anhum.